smaller retail investor is more focused on professional, but yet it's global, right? And there's also more stringent or a lot of compliance procedure right at the beginning before the token get listed, right? So it's almost like there's almost like a listing procedure with all the compliance, due diligence, risk profile matching from the investor and the project. So there are a lot of professional work going in to safeguard, the generosity of the tokens.
Right. And, Samson, to add to this, I know you had talked a little bit about utility tokens and what they offer kind of to the markets, but how is the industry kind of handling utility tokens? How also things went from ICOs to STOs, now to IEOs. How's the market looking at that overall?
Right. Well, utility token is still a very interesting space. Although, we started out from the Wild West in 2017, went through the boom and the bust. To me personally, I look at it as almost like a .com, right? Except that, of course, now the world is all connected. All the cycle is more compressed, right? So we have almost compete what the .com cycle went through in 5 years in 2 years, right? So now for utility token space, we actually coming out from the crash, which is not a bad thing because it's actually clean up a lot of noises and scam, right? There are in fact a lot of scam project out there, but now it's good, it clean it all up. And now the way I see, we almost like we are at 2003, 2004 with the .com, right? Now the utility tokens market is start picking up momentum again with, the big player joining the market, right? A lot of this big company out there, they're actually issuing utility tokens instead of security tokens, because they are already public listed company, right? To them, the security tokens might not be as valuable. But on the other hand, because like, for example, companies like Walmart, right? They have huge customer base, a huge supplier base. They have a huge ecosystem. So to them, it's more interesting to create a utility tokens that flow along the ecosystem and being almost like a lubricant of the business.
Okay, I see. In terms of that respect, speaking about the .com bubble, do you see another bubble coming in terms of the STOs? Right, we saw how the alt one happened in 2017 and the Bitcoin bull run, and now that we've been in this prolonged bear market, it's been about 2 years ago for a lot of crypto companies. I think we've seen like a mass extinction of like 90% of all crypto firms are either gone and they ran out of money. I think, in your perspective, do you see the next bubble coming, especially for STOs or even IEOs or the upcoming altcoins that will be listed onto the crypto market very soon?
Right. Well, for STO, there's certainly a lot of hypes out there. But in terms of the actual market development is lag behind, right? Because, the technology is always faster than human behavior. So now the market is catching up. So I don't see the bubble yet. It might come because the liquidity is not here yet. I think the bubble will start building up when we see more people have made the money from the STO, right? If you think about it, that's how it started with ICO, right? Because back in 2017, all of a sudden people heard from their friends, oh wow, I make 5x in this token and 10x in that token, and that word of mouth is starting the bubble, right?
Right.
We haven't seen that happening yet in STO, but yet I think because STO, it is based on some solid underlying asset, right? I think the bubble should be less, right? Because there should be something underneath. It's not just based on a vision or a story or something like that. And it's also more focused on professional investor, which are more rational. They invest based on professional methodology rather than emotion, right? So I think if the regulator keep the STO to professional investment market, it should be rather safe. But yet, while we're speaking, we have already seen some success case in US. Some STO project have already successfully complete the filing of Red A, which is essentially allowed them to sell to the public investor. So we have to watch that trend very closely.
Right. So to wrap up with the final question, Samson, we would like to ask, in your perspective, why do you think everyone is currently moving from the ERC20 standard, which is commonly used by utility tokens, into the ERC1400 standard? Could you please share your thoughts?
Okay, sure. Well, I'd like to clarify. So not everyone moving to 1400. Okay, so maybe we step back a little bit, right? So now the key is about what they call fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens.
I see.
Okay, because in a traditional, it sounds strange because only a year or 2 years before the traditional ERC20 standard, or for the utility tokens, right?
Yes.
Every token is almost like identical, right?
Okay.
When you buy a Bitcoin, right? Your Bitcoin is the same as my Bitcoin, right? Well, or Bitcoin is not a good example because not on ERC20. Maybe you buy a L coin, a utility token from a particular project, right?
Yeah.
Your coin is the same as my coin, right? And we can trade in the market openly, and you don't care. You buy like 10,000 coins, and and the other party sell to you. But for security tokens, because of the compliance issue, right? Because remember what we talked about before is that we're still using a lot of existing security regulations and framework, right?
Okay.
In the traditional world, a lot of the regulator, they actually need to have a record of shareholders, right? Maybe from the regulator point of view, maybe from the company point of view, at any time, they will need to know who are the shareholders of the company, right? So when someone is selling their shares, or someone's buying it, the new shareholders need to get on the book of record, right?
I see.
So this function or features is not supported by the ERC20, right?
Okay.
Where the ERC 1400 is designed to be a non-fungible tokens, where they will have an ability to store this identity information of the owner of the tokens, right? So some
really cool.
put in the KYC and the AML requirement tag along with that features in the smart contract, right? So it can only be done with the new standard. And reason I'm saying not everyone moving to the 1400 is because the 1400 is more promoted by Polymath, right? Which of course is a major player in the security tokens market, but they work on the Ethereum architecture and joint hand with a few other people to create this 1400, and then now promoting it is one of the popular standard now. But apart from this, we also see other big players also promoting other standard, right? But which of course will comply and be able to deliver the same features. For example, for Securitize, they're promoting their protocol called the SD or DS standard, which stands for the Digitized Securities Standard.
Okay.
Yeah? And then we also see other companies promoting, but which one will be the winning standard? We don't know yet, right? Because this is more early stage. But I think eventually, it's about adoption.
Yeah.
Right.
And I fully agree with you. And adoption is like kind of like the Blu-ray and HD DVD, right? So there's always these two competing standards that we have to consider. Samson, thank you very much for your time. Due to the interest of time, perhaps could you please share what would be the best way to contact you with?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Really great pleasure to be here to share with the audience. If you want to reach me, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find Samson Lee Coinstreet, very easy. Or you can come to our website, is coinstreet.partners, or send me an email, is SL, stand for Samson Lee, SL at coinstreet.partners.
All right, that's great, Samson. And on behalf of Kunal and myself, thank you very much for your time and joining us on Geeks of the Value.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.